There we go.
Only you and me. Oh, Sushkov is now there. Okay, yes.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us today on this Reef AMA. We have Fernando Verboonen and Vladimir Sushkov from Curio DAO. Oh, sorry. Vladimir Kislinskii. My bad.
Yes, do you hear me good, guys? We actually have the Vladimir
Yes,
Sushkov
we
too.
can. Yes,
Yes,
we
now
have
we
we
hear.
have Vladimir Shushkov and Vladimir. Too many Vladimirs. I was not aware we are gonna have so many Vladimirs on this AMA. I don't know, guys. I don't
Guys,
know
do
if
you
I'm
hear the
okay with
echo?
this.
Do you hear the echo
No,
or just I?
there's no echo. Everything's all great, Vladimir. We're live here, so let's get into this. Thanks for joining us. We're really excited to be working with Curio. Been watching you guys and getting your emails over the last few months about what you guys are up to, and I think I get so many emails, but I'm pretty sure we're co-investing in NFTs here. So let's get right into it. Talk about a little bit about yourselves, who Curio DAO is and what you do. And Fernando, I think we'll start with you.
Hello, everyone. This is Fernando. Pleasure connecting. Thank you there for the opportunity to join this AMA. I'm contributor to Curio DAO and co-founder of Curio Capital AG, a fintech based out of Switzerland. We are working on a big challenge to bring the next 1 billion people into crypto. These are people who are not insiders, who do not get hold perhaps crypto, but who understand real world assets. And so, together with Vladimir Sushkov and Kislinskii, we are contributing to a DAO that makes it possible to turn real world assets into NFTs and to fractionalize them and to basically make it very easy for you to get a piece of a Ferrari or a Picasso or a Mario Bros. One
Or Rembrandt.
or a Rembrandt, right? So with that
Fernando,
said,
can
I would
you
Yeah.
like to.
Fernando, can you show the cartridge? Can you show the Mario what I give to you
Oh
today?
yes.
Uh-oh.
Fernando, we today
Physical
pitching
items.
we today pitching in Zurich the private session for private investors, around 16 people and 60. So, and I meet Fernando the next portion of the cartridges because we have two versions of the Mario. To he send it to
We're
Vata and
very
Vata give the
excited
score
about
Oh
this.
and we
Check
wow.
this
launch it.
out. Mint
Wow.
condition, perfect condition, beautiful. And if you don't know what this is a Nintendo 1 NES, Mario Bros. 1. It's legendary.
I know what it is. I owned a copy. I had Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt, the dual cartridge, both of which I just absolutely destroyed. I beat both those games over and over and over again because I was like 7 or 8 years old and I loved video games. Um, that's amazing. I haven't seen a copy like that. Certainly not in mint condition in quite a while. So that's terrific. It'll be really exciting to bid on unopened copy. Yeah, 2 million. Oh my goodness, was that you
This is
guys
serious
that
stuff.
bought it for 2 million?
It's
It
serious
was
stuff.
Rally RD. It's our competitor basically, but they based in US and they don't have
Oh,
crypto. It's totally like non-crypto custodian guys and so on. And we do everything on chain, and you can buy right now this NFT. So potentially Reef interesting
right,
to
right.
in something like this to bring. We put it to the Reef community from the Sweets with Love.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's really terrific. Vladimir Kislinskii, since you've been talking a little bit, can you tell us a little bit about more about your background and how you got involved in Curio?
So it was actually 4 years ago. I meet the Fernando in Trust Square. It's a blockchain hub in Zurich. It still exists because of Corona. It's for sure we don't work in anymore there like previous, but we work in there 2 years before Corona, since 2018. And I just searching basically the people who interesting in the crypto, and I buy my first Bitcoin in 2013 in Berlin in room 77. If somebody know what does it mean, room 77, it was cult place in Berlin. It's the first place when you can buy the Bitcoin. It costs $350, and somebody from my friends just asked me, can I buy it? Because I learning IT, and I just ask what the fuck is Bitcoin is, and they pay me 200 euro, and I just buy them couple bitcoins on the meetup in room 77 with first ATM, and I just understand I can make some profit, and I just start learning. So I mean, that's my background. But now I'm focusing on the blockchain development, and we research many. I think, Fernando, can you share the video from our new office? We opened the new office a couple months ago, and it's 50-second video. And we now try to working on Substrate. Really, last 2 years we're working on our own Substrate chain. So, but we start from Ethereum, and we want now to connect our Ethereum dApps to the Reef. So let's start from this point, I think.
Of course I have. Sorry, technical difficulties I caused for myself.
What's going on?
But do you hear me
I
good,
need to
Fernando? All good?
join this
Yes,
in another
perfect.
browser. 1 second.
I don't know how you could play a video. Perhaps that's something you could do. I don't know.
While you're waiting, Vladimir Sushkov, if you can introduce yourself as well, that'd be great.
Sushkov, go, 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 go.
Go, 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 go.
Hey, Vladimir, are you here? Are you hear us?
Yeah, I heard you. Hello, everyone. I'm a technical team leader at Curio company. I'm working with Curio from company beginning in
2018, bro.
yes, yeah.
Hey guys, everything cool?
I think Derek is checking out something in his system. So, Derek? I think Derek is checking out something in his system. So, Derek?
Yeah, I think we're. I think I just have to go without the headphones.
I think Derek is checking out something.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we hear you super good.
But for some reason I can't hear you. That's no fun.
Use an
Studio
iPad. It's
Restream.
super easy on an iPad.
Okay. That's okay. I think we've got I've got a solution here. I'll just gonna have to listen to the actual stream. That's okay. I think we've got I've got a solution here. I'll just gonna have to listen to the
This is suboptimal. I can hear your voice
actual stream.
from the stream.
Okay, cool. So sorry about that, everybody. I'll make sure I don't try to mess with my settings next time.
Suboptimal. I can hear your voice from the stream.
Okay, cool. Okay. All right, so let's get back on track here. So let's talk about how we are working together. I think we had an announcement some point last year about how Curio Invest was the name at the time, was going to work with Reef. Let's talk a little bit about more, how we actually plan to see that happen over the coming months.
Hey Fernando, do you start?
Oh yeah, sure. I can just start. Just making sure that the audio is fine. Yeah. So your question was, how has Curio integrated Reef? Is that correct?
Yes.
So we're currently at the stage of integrating Reef Chain into Curio DAO products. When you look at Curio DAO, you realize that it has, in a way, its own ecosystem with a main token called Curio Governance Token. And basically, the DAO protocol has its own stablecoin called Curio Stablecoin. And so together they work as an ecosystem similar to MakerDAO, in which they enabled you to get a loan backed by your real world asset. In other words, the tokens that Curio creates, such as a car token, a Mario Bros token, a Picasso token, and so forth, can be used as a collateral into the protocol. And so together with contributors DEX called Capital DEX, basically our users create liquidity pools. And so basically together these products enable you to diversify into real world assets and by buying just NFTs. So in a very simple and crypto friendly way, you can buy NFTs backed by these real world assets. You can create these NFTs by submitting your real world asset to the platform as well, and basically trade them. So we would like to link our products to the Reef chain ecosystem to essentially enable our users to use them in conjunction with other DeFi protocols integrated into the Reef chain. And this is where the idea came up. Hey guys, let us connect to the Reef chain ecosystem. Let us see how we can integrate you guys. And basically, with your support of the whole Reef team, we plan to integrate first the Capital DEX into the Reef liquidity bridge. So, users can easily access and use Capital DEX for liquidity in Reef financial products. And that's kind of like the first step. So basically, we will also bring afterwards real world tokenized assets to the Reef ecosystem in the form of NFTs from our Rollup platform. You can actually go and check it out. It's called Rollup, ROLLAPP.store. It's now live, fully functional, and so is our Curio DAO ecosystem. Maybe you want to add something, Vladimir?
Yes.
Very
So
cool. There's going to
from
be a
our
little bit of a delay while I switch back and forth here, probably about 10 seconds. So sorry about that. That's great. Really looking forward to having NFTs on Reef Chain. Ideally the DApp as well. Like hopefully people will be able to connect using the Reef browser extension wallet and the Reef mobile app when that's live. Connect to Curio's DApp and actually participate that way. Is that plan to happen?
Right. So we're currently planning to start with the Reef chain, integrating the Reef chain into our rollup, into our application, a so-called NFT marketplace for real world assets, the rollup launchpad. And the idea is that the platform will take advantage of the Reef chain's high scalability and throughput while dramatically minimizing the gas fees, which is something everyone is complaining lately. And compared to other networks like Ethereum and so forth, makes it very competitive.
That's terrific. Really looking forward to that. Somebody was asking for examples of real world assets. I know you named a few off the top, but fairly haphazardly. Can you give the community some examples of things that have already on the platform or things you hope to offer in the near future?
Right. So right now on the platform, you can already find over
Can
five
you
asset
show Mario,
classes.
please, Fernando?
And so our latest asset class has been gaming collectibles. And what you see here in the screen refers to an original piece of history, Mario Bros. 1 from NES. And basically, you have the opportunity to essentially acquire an NFT that represents co-ownership on this beautiful cassette from Nintendo One, but also to learn more about the provenance, about the history, and so forth. And so it's a very exciting opportunity, to diversify into real world assets. There's also wine, there's also watches, sneakers, cars, and these are not just
And the
normal
car,
kind
you
of
can
stuff.
find the first car. Do you can check basically this is the first DAO car, and you can basically find it in the rollup.store. That's, you can open right
Should you
now
be driving it
basically
though?
the
That seems like a way to
rollup.store.
depreciate the asset.
It's a DAO car, and everybody who become it's gonna be renting soon in the here in Switzerland in Zug, and everybody who hold the NFT they stake this NFT and become the passive income from the people who renting this car, and it's all working with our token what we launching on Reef basically.
And so, just to give a little bit of background, there's two types of assets: those that you can buy a fraction for the purpose of investing because the asset is scarce and it's a collectible, and those that you can buy a fraction for the purpose of receiving rewards in the form of when the asset is rented. And so the car that Vladimir showed is planned to be rented. And so when you rent the asset, the car at one of our partners to pay with CGT, and then by staking your NFT, you get paid that rent. And so there's two kind of categories: the kind of like collectible high end that are stored that are not driven, and those that are rental income, put it this way.
Got it. That's terrific. Good stuff. So, another question we wanted to ask. You guys are working on integrating Reef into your DApp. From a pardon me, from a technical perspective, how are things going so far? We know it runs on Substrate. It's EVM compatible. It's really energy efficient. It's fast. So I'm just wondering how the tech process is going there, and hopefully how easy it's been to integrate the Reef into the DApp, and in the near future, if you haven't done it already, deploy to testnet.
Right. So, I mean, at this stage, we're currently planning the integrating of the Reef chain. So, basically, your team has, in a way, already experienced developing and maintaining, the smart contract systems that are used in our product. And when it comes to our current marketplaces, it's not only about the technical, but also about the legal side. So there's somehow mapped together. And so basically, we're prioritizing the technical resources to launch, basically to launch the integration on our existing products with Reef Chain at this stage.
Good stuff. So, I mean, clearly, Curio has offered a different use case to what most people are used to when it comes to NFTs. A lot of them are art related, which I have absolutely nothing against. I own a bunch of art NFTs, mostly multimedia ones, or at least I prioritize buying multimedia ones that have some audio or visual component to it, because that's what I like. But I'd like to hear from you guys what you think the current mood is around NFTs as a whole, and if you think it's a more of a sour or negative mood, what you're trying to do to change that and educate people about these other use cases.
Right. So, I mean, our project has been in the making, basically building for the last couple of years. And what you see is that we have gotten both the technical and the legal side out of very innovative countries called Switzerland and Liechtenstein. And so, to put it into simple words, today, one of the leading NFT marketplaces, you go, online, and you find that you're actually buying a picture. You're effectively buying a picture or paying a fee for a picture. Of course, some of these pictures are iconic and are, in a way, capture, in the sense of, the NFT and so forth. But what differentiates Curio DAO, respectively Rollup, is that you are actually, when you purchase one of the NFTs, you become actual owner on the real world asset. And so it's not just a picture, it's actually the real world asset. So if you buy basically, an NFT that represents, the Mario Bros, which by the way is live, you actually become co-owner on that Mario Bros physical asset. And so basically, there are now, a growing number of NFT marketplaces with several artists and collectors. And what we envision is that there will be, in the near future, also asset originators that will be seeking for other real world assets within the various sources and submitting it to our platform. And so, in a way, we certainly start linking, digital NFTs to real-world assets that can be used, to diversify your portfolio, to simplify the transfer of the ownership of each real-world assets, or even to be used as a loan, as a collateral to get a loan.
Very cool. Pierre has another really good question. So, it will be possible to buy a share of real estate and earn interest as well. I'm actually already doing this on another platform that is not yours, and so I'm not going to name it. But they've been going for over a year now, but we're very focused on real estate, which I think is terrific. So that organization actually buys the house, creates a series under their C corp, and people can buy ERC20s. Shares in that house and earn interest, which is great for me because I get to become a landlord without the hassle of being the actual landlord and worrying about tenants and about plumbing issues and stuff like that. Is there? I didn't. I looked very briefly. Is there real estate now, or is that part of the plan?
So the reality is that every asset will be tokenized, and we have a strategy that focuses on high-end luxury items to begin with. Therefore, we started with a Ferrari. Therefore, we added sneakers and wine and so forth. Going forward, basically, pretty much any real-world asset will be tokenized, including real estate. So what you see today is also a new novel regulatory framework that enable us to map this real world asset to an NFT without the need of setting up a company that purchases the real world asset and then creates a series and so forth. So basically skipping over that whole layer of red tape. And what this also means is it basically transfers all these benefits, which is basically a significant reducing cost to the end users. And so imagine if you will have to set up a company for owning, a watch, or for owning, a car. This is all now simplified via this latest regulatory framework.
Awesome. Thanks for that. That's really interesting to hear. Um, Sorry, just looking at Flavio's question there. Okay, so what do you think the biggest opportunities here are? Like Super Mario Brothers is huge. It's sold for $2 million at some point. You've got cars you want to rent out on some sort of platform. I've got one in mind that operates here in Canada and in the United States as well, but the name escapes me at the moment. Are those sorts of are really old assets, the biggest opportunity here? Is it owning something and renting it out, whether it's a car or real estate? And then following on to that, what do you think the biggest challenge is going forward?
Right. So, I mean, when you look at the opportunities, I mean, the reality is that by 2027, over $24 trillion in assets are expected to be, the market for tokenized assets are expected to reach $24 trillion. So you're looking at, not only, items, but also real estate and many other assets such as music licenses and so forth. And so, what I feel the opportunities are is that we're certainly experiencing a access and democratization of assets that were simply excluded from the great majority. And so we're going through a transition in which assets that were extraordinarily exclusive are becoming somewhat inclusive thanks to crypto. And so when it comes to purchasing these assets, it's not only about just investing, but it's also about learning the provenance, this history, who owned it, and so forth. And so the end user ultimately ends up, benefiting from this evolution. Now, of course, the challenges remain there. I mean, some of these assets are very hard to get. They're very hard to price, but most importantly, require very unique expertise. And so the curation of these assets will increasingly become relevant. We want to bring high quality assets to the platform. And basically, what you see today is really a convergence of several technologies, such as blockchain, NFT, lending protocols, basically unlocking this liquidity out of these assets that are non-liquid. We we believe these assets will increasingly become more accessible, and hopefully, together with these different technologies, we can make it very easy for pretty much anyone to access them. An additional challenge that I see, relevant or latent is the consistent lack of certainty when it comes to how to interpret, how to consider these types of assets across
Terrific.
different countries. So, yeah, fortunately, out of Switzerland and Liechtenstein, respectively, Europe, there's already a solid framework how to, consider these NFTs and how to classify them, and therefore what rules to follow and so forth. And so I feel one of the challenges is that the regulatory landscape is extraordinarily fragmented. And so the regulatory framework that I refer to remains already compliant across mainly Europe. And basically, in leveraging this framework, we understand which countries are compliant and which countries are out of scope, basically.
Terrific. Thanks for all that. That's it's good to have an understanding of the challenges there, especially from the regulatory perspective. Flavio had some questions here about that. It's definitely different in every country. Living in Ontario, Canada, the Ontario Securities Commission has such strict rules or compliance requirements that like Binance has decided to stop operating here, either Fobi or OKX as well, and then crowdfunding sites like Republic. I can't participate, even for like $100 or $500. I can't do those sorts of crowdfunding things or crowd fundraising, whatever you want to call it, because the Ontario Securities Commission, is what it is. Abe, if I could move to BC, if I could afford to move to BC, I probably would. But they have their own issues. Like, a home like mine probably costs $2 or $3 million, and it costs way less than that here where I live in Ontario. So anyway, coming back to Curio DAO and what you guys are doing, how do you feel like you're adding value to the NFT landscape then? Is it all about providing all these additional use cases and revenue earning opportunities? Is there anything else you think that's helping helping diversify and bring a more positive lens to the to NFTs and their use cases?
This is a very good question. I mean, recently I read about how many scam happens on other platforms, and how many fake pictures are being NFT'd and therefore result. So basically, when you look at CurioDAO, you realize that we're adding value by creating a secure ecosystem that is pegged to real world assets and that provides that access to safe haven, stable, inflation hedge assets. And so basically, we're enabling users and business to also tokenize their own real world assets and trade, sell them via the platform, the marketplace, in the form of NFTs. And so what I envision is that, in the future, people who would, normally would sell their asset via an eBay account or simply online, they would start gravitating towards rollup, provided that is a high-end asset, because of that certainty, of that increasing quality and reduced fraud. Today, when you look at the assets that Curio DAO has already issued, basically you realize that these NFTs are tied to a variety of really cool items, such as a rare car, a collectible, such as a game cartridge, like for a console NES One. There are already wines available, watches, and sneakers, and basically, our imagination is the limit. The framework can be replicated to all these other assets.
Terrific, good. I think we've asked all the questions so far that have been that are relevant and have come through the chat. If anybody else has any questions, please feel free to ask there, and I can ask Fernando. I guess what I'm really curious about is like where do you guys see CurioDAO and the platform going over, let's say, maybe the next 2 years. 5 years is a little bit too long. 6 months, you probably already have your roadmap fairly planned out. So like the next 2 years, obviously regulatory items are going to change. Maybe the community's desires are going to change. Well, like, do you have any sort of expectation of where you're going to be? Maybe it's just the TVL type number. Like, we want to have 1 billion assets, as part of the platform, something like that.
Vladimir, do you want to answer that one?
Yes, I
Okay.
can. Can you please repeat the question? Hey guys, can you please repeat the question? I think it's some delaying because
Where do you see
Basically, the
Curio?
question is, where do you see the Curio DAO platform in about 2 years? Whether it's based on community feedback or your own expectations of how regulations might change, or um, it could be all about
yes.
the amount of assets or
Mhm.
the value of those assets that are part of the platform.
Yes, we for sure believe that everything be tokenized in next 5 years for sure, and we gonna be the leader. We try to become a leader and basically monopolist in this area, and our goal is to involve maximal venture capital, maximal companies like Ferrari, Mercedes, real estate companies, diamond producers, the mining producers, the watch, everybody who from the company, from business perspective, and the people, the market, create basically the market for the whole world in real world asset tokenization, because in the future everything be partly controlled by artificial intelligence, robotics, and Web3, Web4, and Industry 4.0. And it's need to be tokenized to interact and grow the economy of the whole world to another level. Because today economy, I think everybody believe, today economy is not working anymore. So we need new economy, and millennials, they choosing the Tesla, they choosing electric cars. They already have some NFTs, they already have some Bitcoin, Ethereum, and so on. But what they can do today with these assets, with these NFTs, basically not so much. And we try to give them the more scenario. And of course, this DAO need to be somehow aggregate the interest of the people, and somebody interested in the car, somebody interested in the real estate, somebody interested in the Andy Warhol and another painting and so on. And we just try to give them the platform and ecosystem where they can decide what they want to purchase, what they want to hold, and how they want to sell it, and fractionalize it, and basically become the profit and become the portfolio, the new kind of portfolio. Everything be tokenized. So that's all.
Okay, thanks. That was a really good response, I guess. Julian has a really interesting question. How long do you need to tokenize an asset? I guess we could think of that from a perspective of like, how long do you need to tokenize it in order to realize some return? And I would guess at a basic level that really depends on the asset, right? Like what you've bought and what you're going to do with it. Can we expand on that?
Right. So, I mean, Rollup is a dApp that enables you to, in a way, onboard as a user. Basically, within minutes, you submit your, user details and so forth, so that you are, in a way, compliant with the current regulatory framework. And once you're done, basically similar to minting an NFT on any other marketplace. So you basically submit your information, metadata about about your specific real world asset. You probably do some sort of proof of ownership, proof of existence that the real world asset is there. You take some pictures, high quality pictures, and so forth. And at that moment, there is a selection criteria taking place behind the scenes, and therefore, provided it's approved, you get that minted NFT. And now the beauty about that is that going forward, we're linking these NFTs to various data sources so that there's continuously a kind of a reference for a price and a reference for a loan to value. And so, provided that price is already available, then you will be able to already just lock it and get a loan. And that's amazing because Before you had no crypto, but you had perhaps a watch, and afterwards you have an NFT you can lock and realize a loan. And with this loan, you can go into the ecosystem, create a pair, earn yield, and stake it. And that can be quite attractive.
Yeah, that's terrific. I've got a large asset here. I could I could borrow against without having to go to the bank and maybe get a better interest rate or some other better term, even if the interest rate is higher. So that's really interesting. Flavio wants to know what happens to the real world asset after all the shares into which the NFT has been split. So all the shares have been sold. So like I buy five, Pierre buys five, Flavio buys maybe 10 because he's a baller, and everybody else buys their own. Then what? I guess that turns back into the actual use case. So we're renting out the car, we're hanging on to the house until the market goes up. That Rembrandt or Jackson Pollock painting or what have you, we're hanging on to that, or maybe putting in a museum for it to increase in value. Again, I guess it really depends on the use case, right?
That is correct. And I believe, going forward, I mean, our mission is really to make these assets not only tradable, but somehow available to end users. So there would likely be, membership, exclusive experiences where you can, in a way, access some of these assets, perhaps by attending an event and so forth, and therefore, becoming part of the Curio community. We just onboarded a real estate partner. They have over 700 villas, very high-end, multi-million dollar villas. We're building experiences for them, and as part of the Curio membership club, you in a way benefit from discounts when staying on their villas and so forth. So it's very very exciting what's coming up. But there again, we always like build and then announce. So stay tuned.
Terrific. I'm excited about an opportunity to access a villa that I own a portion of. It's like a timeshare, but way, way better because I actually do own it, and it's not some place in Florida that I'll never go to. Plus, obviously, having access to potentially lots of them would be really cool. I also like the idea. I'm thinking now. Okay, so we all buy a Ferrari or a few Ferraris, and then we all hit up the Nürburgring for the weekend. Try to put them through the paces. See who can set the best lap time. There is one more question from Pierre. How do you prove you really own the real asset? How is tokenization securing the transaction?
Vladimir, do you want to answer that one?
Yes, I can tell today we have two kind of collections. One of the from Curio, and we basically insurance and owning and buy before tokenize something and put it via NFT on the roll of that store. And the second collection, it's from customers. For this solution, when customers can, make the know your client procedure and we tokenize some assets, we putting the risk options and using Claras and Luxo for on-chain reputation, which people can change and make the more and more deals, the more trust score, and basically user decide can he trust this owner of the asset, do he want to make auction or something, buy or sell to this person or not. Because from our collection side, when we you see the Curio collection, yes, Curio NFT. We always insurance and we legally protected and technically warehousing all assets from our side, from Swiss perspective, from legal Liechtenstein perspective, Swiss perspective. We totally take responsibility 100% of all assets what we represent. But when we create the market for the users, P2P, not B2P, so P2P trading and P2B trading, the users become the score from Luxo and from the Claris. That's our solution for today.
Terrific. Thanks for that. Looks like we're out of questions here, so I'm going to ask one more. I heard that you guys have something called Creo, or maybe it's Curio Labs, but you're using a Q as the beginning of that. What is that? What is that for, and what does that have to do with quantum communications? Because that still sounds very sci-fi, although I know about quantum encryption and quantum computing, obviously. What's quantum communications? What does that have to do with Creo or Curio Labs?
Right. So over the last 3 years, basically, our team has devoted 20% of the time, sometimes a little bit more, to kind of like a moonshot project. And when I came across meeting Vladimir, he was developing, in a way, a project together with the academia. They were focusing on improving the security of basically storing digital assets, basically cold wallets, or how to keep, in a way, your tokens safe from bad actors. And so since then, there has been some contribution with academia and some research. And basically what Vladimir and the team has put together, it's a quite a state-of-art solution that in a way it enables users who purchase some of our tokens, respectively, who communicate within the messenger that is coming up soon on rollup.store, to in a way keep the transactions, respectively, keep their digital assets safe, similar to what will be storing your digital assets on a cold wallet. Now the difference here is that it builds upon the latest tech, quite state of art. And perhaps, Vladimir, do you want to share more about it?
Yes, sure. It's just a standard, basically protocol BB84, and it's basically quantum key distribution, and it's nothing special. It's just basically, if it simplified, the quantum safe randomizer, and we create on substrate the special chain, which become consensus via this quantum key distribution. And actually it's not super new. The, let's say, JP Morgan now, and in Switzerland ID Quanti company, what we interact in our solution, it's a hardware solution basically, which always distribute the quantum key. So it's a quantum key generator, this is official name, and it's just a line of the quantum secure signal, basically, which we implement in consensus in our layer, some layer solution, and through this, the people can transfer the private keys, they can transfer the messaging, everything totally anonymous and totally quantum secure. Of course, we make the testing before, we make the global hackathon for this technology and so on, and it's become open source solution for everybody who want to interact with us and with potentially with Reef. It's everything on substrate development based, and it's potentially interesting for you guys.
That's terrific. Thank you. And really looking forward to that. I mean, it kind of sounds like sense chat or status, but quantum encrypted and built right into to the Curio DAO DApp or to rollapp.store, which would be really interesting. So thank you for that. It looks like we lost Fernando, which I think is okay because I think we're about ready to wrap this up here. Oh, sorry, Vladimir. Maybe you can answer one more question from Julian. I know you guys have done some marketing. Obviously, you have a community, but he wants to know whether you think you need to tokenize more assets before engaging in a really large, broad, maybe mainstream marketing campaign.
Yes, because we realize for the next steps, we need the venture capital. For next big step for the company, we need the big partners. I mean, when I'm talking about big partners, it needs to be officially Ferrari. It needs to be officially Lamborghini. It needs to be officially the huge money holders, and they need to trust and invest in the Curio. So we now in process already with the we start from the cars, and we go in super exclusive deal in the car world for the Curio. I think the Curio become one of the leader in the tokenization of the cars, and you know about this soon. I just can't share nothing information before we officially become this. So, but before the start, the huge marketing, like everybody, to sell or buy something big, you need to have the big money, and we become it from the cars, from the car world. So yes, we become official some support.
Terrific. Thanks so much. Okay, guys, I think that's a really good place to end this. Thank you so much for your time today, for Fernando for coming out despite his apparent internet or maybe hardware issues. Oh, he rejoined. There we go. But like I said, I think we're ready to wrap up here. Thanks to Pierre, Flavio, Julian, and I think one other person. Sorry, I can't remember who it was. Who asked some questions. This was a great turnout. I'm sorry about the audio issue. I will not mess that up next time. But otherwise, I think this worked out really well. So yeah, thanks again for tuning in, and until next time, uh, keep deploying into the freedom of the reef.
Thank you guys. Bye bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye.